Being inches away from both your most loved or hated NBA players can lead to explosive reactions from the fans. And trust me, some people do the wildest things ever. Because one fan had the audacity to dump popcorn on Russell Westbrook. During the fourth quarter of the Philadelphia 76ers' 120-95 victory over the Washington Wizards, a fan was stripped of his season tickets and barred from all Wells Fargo Center events indefinitely. With 10 minutes 28 seconds remaining in the game, Westbrook was limping back to the locker room after suffering an apparent ankle injury. When Westbrook entered the tunnel, a fan above him poured popcorn all over him. Security officers and Wizards personnel blocked Westbrook from going after the booted fan. The fan is lucky he only got banned because things could have gotten much worse. Now, the only way the situation can worsen is when the person acting poorly is not a fan, but an investor of the team. Because that's what happened with Kyle Lowry. During the fourth quarter of Game 3 of the Toronto Golden State Finals, a renowned venture capitalist and Golden State Warriors part owner Mark Stevens shoved Kyle Lowry. Stevens was booted from his courtside seat for pushing Lowry after he crashed into surrounding chairs while attempting to save a ball from going out of bounds. Stevens had been barred from attending Warriors games and team activities for 1 year and fined $500,000. To make matters worse, Lowry claimed that Stevens had not contacted him to apologize. That is simply unacceptable. And if you thought this was bad, just hold on because it does get worse. A person in the stands actually had the courage to spit on Trae Young. And all of this went down during a game that took place during the pandemic. The Atlanta Hawks guard Trae Young was spat on by a New York Knicks fan during a playoff game at Madison Square Garden. The New York fan spat at Young with just over 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter of Wednesday night's Game 2 between the Hawks and Knicks. That spectator was removed from the venue, and rightly so. According to the Knicks, the fan was banned indefinitely, and their information was handed over to the authorities to take further action. Some people really need to learn the sportsmanship that comes with attending games, and especially need to stop throwing things at players. Because there was a fan who threw a water bottle at Kyrie Irving, and this time around the fan was actually arrested. The fan, wearing a Boston Celtics jersey, was charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. All of this happened during Brooklyn's 141-126 victory over the Celtics, which clearly didn't sit well with the Celtics supporters. Many basketball fans on social media questioned whether hurling the plastic bottle was assault, but legal experts say such charges are frequent and conviction would depend on proving the perpetrator's intent to do bodily damage. However, Irving said that the issue is more complex than merely mistreating athletes, noting underlying racism and treating people as if they were in a human zoo. This led to the person earning a lifelong ban from the Boston arena. Now, even though hurling words at players is not uncommon, it's downright horrid the way it was done with Derek Fisher's situation. Tatum, Fisher's 11-month-old daughter, was diagnosed with retinoblastoma, an eye condition caused by a malignant growth. Tatum's situation required 3 hours of surgery, which had to take place in New York on the morning of Game 2 of the Jazz series in Utah. Fisher and his wife Candace decided to go forward with the surgery, and fortunately, it was a success. But the reaction of Jazz fans towards Fisher was not great at all. When the Lakers visited Utah, he was booed, and some even chanted "cancer" while he was at the line or during timeouts. This is a prime example of fans stooping so incredibly low and straight up lacking any class or morals. This next fan moment isn't nearly as bad, but was definitely memorable because Russell Westbrook got flipped off. In the first quarter of a season opener against the Oklahoma City Thunder, a Philadelphia 76ers fan was escorted from his courtside seat after flipping off Russell Westbrook with both middle fingers. After the Thunder point guard scored a scoop layup through contact, the fan gestured toward Westbrook. The fan, however, claimed that there was more to the story than that. A video of the play's aftermath shows Westbrook yelling after driving to the basket to score, and he looked like he was cursing. But the fan claimed that what Westbrook actually said was "sit down effing fat boy" when the fan stood up to boo. Now, we might not know what exactly happened, but it's a scene that no one's gonna forget. After the memorable, there's also the unexpected that comes with playing a game, and what no one expected was James Harden to get flashed by a laser. As it turns out, Harden does not appreciate being targeted with a laser pointer. But I mean, who would? The Houston Rockets star spotted a Utah Jazz fan aiming a light at him at the free throw line during the game. He pumped the ball at the person before identifying him to the officials. The supporter was hauled out of Energy Solutions Arena after the incident and was barred from entering any NBA arena for a year. Harden even believes the culprit deserved it. The event happened at Vivint Smart Home Arena during the Rockets' 93-91 victory over the Utah Jazz. Harden scored a game-high 30 points in the win, ensuring that he had the last laugh while the fan was left to mourn his disruptive and nasty behavior. What makes this moment stranger is that most of the other instances were because a fan of the opposing team got in an altercation with a player from the losing team. This happened when Thunder star Russell Westbrook shoved a fan who walked on the court after the game. After a dramatic buzzer beater, one fan became overly excited. After the game, Thunder guard Russell Westbrook attempted to exit the court, and a fan approached Westbrook and yelled in his face. Westbrook replied by shoving the fan aside. Westbrook did nothing wrong, as the TNT announcers pointed out, and I'd have to agree with them on this. Even if you are the reigning NBA MVP, you need to protect yourself when someone gets in your face. The fan is pretty lucky he got off so lightly. This wasn't the only time fans have gotten away with doing what they did, because a fan yelled at Klay Thompson with no repercussions. During a big game, Thompson nearly flew into fans at the courtside when going after the ball. While this is quite common, these fans didn't take it so well. They started yelling obscene things at the player, which was entirely uncalled for. Sometimes fans need to understand that players are only trying to put on the best game they can for them. Slip-ups happen, and reactions like these don't just make them, but the entire city look bad. Sometimes situations like these can involve rowdy reactions from the players too, and those don't end well. Like what happened with Meta Sandiford Artest. The malice at the Palace began with an argument between Indiana Pacers forward Ron Artest and Detroit Pistons power big Ben Wallace, which quickly escalated into one of the worst incidents in sports history. Artest was smacked with a beer after laying on the scorer's table to de-escalate the situation. He goes into the crowd and assaults a fan. Things quickly escalate. Artest was later suspended for 73 games and the playoffs, which, if you ask me, seems pretty fair. Which one of these wild moments surprised you the most? Which was the most brutal? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
You may never see anything like this again in pro sport.